Hey everybody, welcome back. So in this video, I want to test and review the VEVOR Model 13B drill bit sharpener. This was sent to me for the purpose of this review by VEVOR. So it's a sponsored video and I do very much appreciate them sending this to me. So you're probably like me, you've probably got a box of drill bits like this. I have three or four big drill indexes, but I still have a box like this with all my poorly sharpened, dull, damaged drill bits in it. And I'd sure like to get some of the better ones of those cleaned up, sharpened, and usable again. And this old thing, it just don't cut it. It's just pretty awful, to be honest with you. So this machine, I said, is the Model 13B. It comes with 11 different collets that will sharpen drill bits from 3 millimeters to 13 millimeters, and it'll sharpen the US fractional sizes as well. Collets have a pretty good range to them. Also comes with 2 Allen wrenches, and they're nice. They give you a spot to keep those, and there's a spot for a spare, and these are stamped, the sizes are stamped into them as well. It comes with a chuck that you put everything in, and mine came with an extra sharpening wheel. And I wound up taking the sharpening wheel on it. The sharpening wheel is under here, and there's a little wheel you loosen back there. That pops open, and the sharpening wheel is down in there. And I wound up taking that one off because I wanted to see if this was just a spare or if they were the same or what's going on. And it turns out that the one mine came with that's on it is a carbon boron nitride sharpening wheel that's meant for high-speed steel bits, ordinary steel bits. And this one, marked SD or SDN, it's a diamond wheel designed to sharpen carbide bits. So you can do both with this machine as it comes. You can do regular high speed and you can do carbide bits with the other wheel that comes on it. So you've got, how this thing works is you've got 3 stations. This station over here sets the depth of the drill bit in the collet. This station down here, you set the angle here for the angle you want to sharpen it, and it comes set to 118 degrees, which is very standard. And then you place the chuck and the bit in here and rock it, and that sharpens it. And then this station up here, it puts the split point on it if you should so desire a split point. And I'm going to go through, we're going to test all of that. It comes with a manual, which is not horrible. It is a little light on instructions, to be honest. But it's good enough to get you started, and there are quite a bit of videos on the internet as well. Project Farm actually reviewed this machine under a different name and at a $100 higher price point as well. So, as I said, I've been playing with it for a bit, and I think I've got the hang of it. I have never used a drill bit sharpener like this before, but we're going to use it and we're going to figure it out, and we're going to put those bits to a test. So one thing I recommend you do when you first start learning is obviously find junk or very cheap drill bits, because you're probably going to mess them up a few. I know I did. So, but I think I kind of got the hang of it now. So here's one I pulled out. Also, start with larger ones, because the larger ones are a lot easier to see what you're doing, especially for me. I just had cataract surgery and I now have 20/20 vision, but that's only from about 5 feet and further away. Inside, I need, closer than that, I need reading glasses and things. So let's take a look at this bit. I'm not sure what size this is off the top of my head. Let me grab my calipers. So this bit, and if you're not using metric bits, I highly recommend you get a caliper and you just put a caliper on it. So this is 7.84 millimeters, just so you know how to set the machine. Let's take a quick look at this bit and see how horrible it is. Hoping this is going to show up here pretty well. And you can see there's a big chunk missing out of that cutting edge there. And yeah, this one over here is pretty sad as well. So let's sharpen this drill bit. Let's see how good a job we can do with it. So how you do, you want to get a collet. So, and you can try, this one says 8 to 9 here. That's a little loose. Let's try the next one down. That seems perfect. And also, if you have any burrs on the shaft, you know, from when you spun it in the chuck, you want to take those off. I do, so I'm going to have to go do that now for this. Okay, so let's see if that fits a little smoother. Oh yeah, that's perfect now. So what you do is you take your chuck, you open it up, you take this part. Now you want to snap the chuck in like this, and it pops right in. Put your drill bit in, screw this down, but do not tighten it. One thing I've noticed in between doing this is it's going to take more than one application of this to get that damage out of that bit and get it sharp again. So you want this to be in there fairly, you know, you don't want it wobbling around, but you need to be able to turn it. So now what you're going to do is you're going to come over to here and you're going to set this over here, this dial here, you're going to set it to the size of the bit. So once again, I'm just going to measure that to remind myself, 7.8 something or other. So I'm going to call it 8 millimeters. Now the instruction says to turn this dial all the way clockwise till it stops, then turn it back to what you want. So I'm going to go back to 8 millimeters. And you notice the pointer is quite a ways away from the dial. So it's more of a guess than anything else. So this flat piece, you put it in and you turn it until it locks. And notice once it's locked in, it will still turn back and forth. We want to turn this all the way clockwise till it stops. Hold it there. Now we want to push our bit in, and we want to, pressing our bit in loosely, we turn it clockwise till it stops, and then we're going to tighten the chuck down. You don't got to go crazy with it. Now you're then going to rotate this slightly back counterclockwise and take it out. Now, here's a critical part. This flat spot, the flats up here and down here, your cutting edge wants to be parallel with that flat. Now let me get the magnifier back up and see if we can see that any better. All right. So that cutting edge wants to be parallel with that flat, and I'd say I'm pretty close right there. Now, if you look in here to where you just set this to the size of the bit. Let me turn the camera light on here. Maybe we can see in there a little better. You'll notice this block. When we turn this adjustment, that block goes up and down. So if your cutting edge is too far rotated like that, turning this up will let it rotate further, because you're turning, when you turn the bit till it stops, it hits that block. So that's what that's for. So once we have that, once we have this set, we want to be tighten it down, have it tightened down snug in the chuck. I need to plug this in. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come to this station over here on the right. Now, as I said, I'm going to do a 118 degree point because that's what this is. So turn it on. Let it come up to speed. We're going to insert this in and until it goes in, and then we're going to rotate back and forth until it doesn't touch the grinding wheel anymore. Then we're going to rotate this 180 degrees, get it back in again, and do it again. Back and forth until it stops and until you can't hear the grinding sound anymore. And I usually do it a couple of times just to make sure. Yep, okay, we're clear. So now, let's take a look at our surface. You may have to do this more than once because it doesn't take huge amounts off at once. But all we want to do is get that damaged area out. You know what? Despite how much damage there was on that, I think we may have gotten it. I have the bit I just sharpened in my Ryobi 10-inch drill press. This is a 3-amp drill press, not really very powerful. Right now, the belts are set for its lowest speed, which, if I remember correctly, is 570 RPM. Now, note one thing. I did make a test hole in there with a different bit. You can see how much bigger it is. That's not this bit. It was one I was practicing on. I would normally never drill through anything this thick without a pilot hole. So this is a real test for it to me, because I would not normally do this. So let's put a little bit of lube on it. I would also center punch, and I'm not going to do that either. I don't want to burn the bit up after just sharpening it, so I'm going to keep lubing it. Oh, that's going through it very easily. Say, this is not a super powerful drill press, and I cannot put a lot of pressure on it, but I can feel how well that's moving through it. I'm pretty happy with that. When I get done, we'll take it out and we'll take a look at the hole and see how smooth it is. All right, let's go back over to the bench with it and let's take a look at that hole. All I did was just kind of blow it out a little bit, dust it off so we can see it. Let's get our magnifier here and take a look at that hole. Let me get you down there as close as I can, or as close as I think this camera and system here I'm using will line up. There we go, that's pretty good. So I gotta tell you, that's a pretty darn clean hole. That might be one of the cleanest holes I've ever drilled. That I just got it setting on that piece of shiny aluminum so we can see it better. That might be one of the better holes I've ever drilled with a bit that wasn't brand new. That's a pretty darn smooth hole. I'm liking that a lot. I'm going to try it on a bigger bit maybe, and even a smaller one as well. Okay, this bit here is 12.5 millimeters. I'm not sure what the actual size is because it's printed down here where spinning in the chuck has kind of wrecked it. I don't know that this one really needs to be sharpened. Let's take a look at it close up and see what we can see. Oh yeah, oh yeah, look at it. Look at it, it's damaged right there at the end, and it's damaged right there as well. Okay, let's sharpen it. And yes, I will try a smaller one too. Don't forget to turn it 180 and do it again. Drilling a 1/2 inch hole without a pilot is nuts to me, but we're going to do it. Yeah, it's definitely going in. I mean, this is just mild steel angle iron. There's nothing special about it. Cutting through it good. In fact, if I was doing 1/2 inch, I would probably go with 2 pilots. I'd probably go, 1/8 or 3/16, and then 1/4 or 3/8, and then up to 1/2. But this is a test. Man, we're going pretty good. Not at all. Not only am I not unhappy, I'm actually really pleased. Look at that. Whoops. See, I knew that was going to happen. We are about the max limit of this drill press. And I'd like not to trash the belt because I just put it on there. All right, let's go look at this hole. Yeah, I just put a new belt on it, and I'd like not to trash it already because I had worn a pretty big flat spot in the previous one. Of course, it was probably the factory original one, and I had the original owner of that drill press helping me do that. All right, let's look at this hole. Now let me get something to prop the other side up. How about that? That's a little too tall, but it'll still work for us. All right. And let's see what that hole looks like. That is the big one. Where are you, big hole? There we are there. And I haven't even blown that out. And you can see that's a pretty, you know what? That's an incredibly smooth hole. So let's pick a small one out of there. How about this one right here? Let's look at this one and see how trashed up this bit is. I'm guessing it's probably pretty trashed up, but we're going to find out. Let me get my magnifier back. So how trashed up is our little bit here? There's something wrong with the edge on that one. Yeah, we're going to go with this one. That was more than bad enough. So, okay, we have our small bit in. We just sharpened. We have our same piece of 3/8 angle iron. Let's drill that hole. I know you can't see that really well from there. I expect this one to go pretty quick, so So the first thing I want to do here when I do the split face is I want to set this to 135 degrees. So I need my little Allen key they provided. We're going to loosen this up. We're going to rotate this to 135, which is right there. We're going to tighten that back up. And it's probably going to take quite a few passes to get this thing at 135. I think it's done and it looks okay. Let's take a look at it. That's looking pretty good. In fact, that's looking really good. Let's see if we can put a split point in it. I have not tried that yet, so I am not exactly sure how to do it. The instructions say to put this in and move the bit down until it contacts the wheel. So I think I'm going to have to loosen it. Let me turn that light off. That's too much glare. I think I'm going to have to loosen it like that. Probably want it tight enough so it doesn't just fall in. And they also talk about these two pins sticking up. Don't know if you can see those two pins, little pins sticking up there. Let me switch that light back on. They talk about these two pins and rotating them to different positions. So put this in until it stops, until it contacts. I'm assuming we're going to want to tighten it so that it... And now they say rotate it back and forth. That didn't take much. All right. It's putting, is that what it's supposed to be doing? That's not a split point. Look at what it's doing. it's actually cutting the back edge, the trailing edge of it down. So I'm thinking maybe the 1/2 inch 12.5 millimeter bit is just too big to get the split point on, because it's contacting the outside relief edges, you know, the trailing edges, before it's contacting the point. And all the other reviews I've seen of this, they're all using much smaller drill bits to do the split point. So I got a 5/16 bit here. 5/16 is what in millimeters? It is 7.7 millimeters, 7.68, 7.7. So that's what I'm going to do. And first I'm going to grind a 135-degree point on it. Okay, we should have a nice 135-degree angle on that. That is looking really good. Let's go ahead and try and put the split point on it. Put this in. Okay, it's touching. Just going to snug it up. Okay, now we got a little. And a little again. Gonna rotate it, try again. All right. Did I get my split point? All right, if I can stop shaking. I think I did that time. Yep, you see it right there in the center? It's very small, but that's my split point. So yeah, there seems to be an upward maximum to what you can do. But yeah, that little, I don't know if you can see it here, but that little X pattern in the middle, that's our split point. I'm going to give it a little bit more just to make it more pronounced, but that's it. So yeah, you just can't do it on something as big as a 1/2 inch bit. Glad I found that out before I started bad-mouthing it, you know. All right, I'm going to hold that down. I'm going to snug my chuck. And well, you don't get much there, do you? But you can definitely see it right there in the center. So that's the split point. For sport and amusement, let's jog the pin over and try it again, where I'll get a little bit bigger split point. And then we will try, I don't think it needs to be bigger to function, but I just want to see it better. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot more. All right, now you can really see it. Let me make sure this is showing up in the camera screen. Now you can really see it. If I'd stop shaking, you could see it. God dang it. Hand won't stop shaking there. All right, now you can really see it in the center. I hope. Yeah, that's a good angle for it right there. You can really see it. So it absolutely does work. I think that last cut was probably too much, but that first one would have been better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back. I'm going to go back and sharpen it again so it's gone, and I'm going to put the smaller split point on it. And because then I want to test it, because I think that's kind of a bit much, that last one. Okay, we're all set up to go. I actually already did drill the hole with the 5/16 135-degree split point, but I forgot to press record, so we're going to do it again. Here we go, a little lube. Tell you what, you can feel the difference. I don't know whether it's the angle or the split point or both, but it's definitely going through it quicker. Boy, it did go through it quicker. So now I'm curious how big of a bit you can put a split point on. So I have a 3/8 and I have a 7/16. We know you can't go 1/2 inch or 12.5 millimeter. Actually, I think this one's 29/64. Okay, I have both the 3/8 and the 7/16, actually 29/64, sharpened to the 135-degree angle. Let's see if we can put a split point on them. I've got the chuck in for the big one, so let's do the big one first, because why not? So this is going to go in like that. I have the collet in for it. And I'm just going to tighten that down enough to the point where it slides. All right. And I'm going to tighten it up a little bit just so it doesn't move. And here we go. Now I notice that when you do it, it barely touches. That's all it does. All right, let's see what happened. Did that work? Yes, it did. There it is right there. So it'll do 7/16. See it right there, I hope. There you go. That's a good angle for it there. It will do 29/64, but it will not do 1/2 inch. So there you have it, my friends. The VEVOR Model 13B drill bit sharpener works really, really good. Comes with 11 collets that will sharpen bits from 3 to 13 millimeters. Comes with the wheels necessary to sharpen both high-speed steel and carbide bits. Sharpens at multiple angles, and will put split points on. So I'm really impressed with it. I just can't recommend it highly enough. It is currently $255 with free shipping at VEVOR's website. That's before any coupon codes, and I will put a coupon code for it down below. Thanks to VEVOR for sending this out to me to test and review, and thank you for watching my videos. Catch you in the next one. Bye for now.